and we are spending 22 minutes with Artie Lange today, who's at Caroline's all this week.
That's right.
So is it all new material? Is it a lot of do you do a lot of political humor?
Well,
I mean, this
now,
is such a campaign
yeah,
season. How could you not,
it's
right?
so easy.
Yeah.
It's like a softball coming in
Yeah.
now. I mean, Hillary Clinton, I don't know. Again, first of all, for a while she was losing to a guy, Bernie Sanders, who was 111 years old. And you know how you assassinate Bernie Sanders? You just have to wait. Like that's how you play. Like right now, we're killing Bernie Sanders. You see terrorists just waiting on the corner going, "We're killing Bernie Sanders." So
are you a Trump guy, Artie?
Well, yeah, I like. I golf with Donald Trump a couple of times, and you know, he's a nice guy. He's like he is on TV. The temperament thing is his worst nightmare because he's like a big kid. You could goof on his shirt and he'll immediately say something about your mother or something. Like he's like a big 8th grader. I golfed with him and Eli Manning, the quarterback. And by the end of the 9 holes, me and Trump were goofing on Eli Manning like bullies in a high school. Like, you know, because he's a bit of a mouth breather, Eli. Like right now, Eli Manning has his mouth open.
Okay.
And we were goofing on that. We said, you know, would you close your mouth? And, you know, it was Trump being Trump, and he'll do that. I mean, he would do that with any world leader. He would probably get mad. That would be an issue.
He'd find something about Putin to
so.
bust him on.
Absolutely. I mean, eventually there's going to be a fist fight, you know. And but Hillary Clinton is very, I don't know, she's just this egomaniac. Why would you want that job? She wants a job to go to an office every day where her husband had sex with a fat chick. Her husband had sex with someone who looks like me in a beret in the Oval Office. That's a sickness. Well, everything, wherever she looks is going to remind, is there somewhere you didn't get?
Why do you think Trump wants to be president? I mean, he's got such a great life.
I know, but it's the ego thing. Of course he wants to be president. That whole family. Eric Trump, he's the Ted Kennedy, though. You can tell he's not the smooth one.
You're waiting for something.
Oh, it's so great. Every time he does a rehearsed interview, he says the word amazing 50,000 times. Well, my father's amazing. I'm an amazing person. You're an amazing person. This is an amazing interview. Thank you. Amazing. And he's got that white stuff on his lips that starts to get the nervous stuff. And he's gonna say something wrong. He's gonna say, you know, he's on his way to a Klan meeting or something.
When you're working comedy nowadays, do you have to worry about being PC?
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, everything, right, winds up on Twitter or Facebook and all these wars about things comedians are saying. It's got to be hard to be funny nowadays.
Well, clearly this is an example. It's a great crowd here. No, that's a great point. It used to, with Twitter, it changed the game. It used to be, say when I started, you were at a place, you know, Yuck Yucks in Cincinnati. If it was midnight, it was just you and the 300 people in that room. And you could say anything you wanted to get off stage and get a check. Now, with Twitter, it's the whole world in the room with the phones and everything. So if you say something, it just takes one person to get offended. They start this Twitter thing, and then, you know, you might lose your job. People are very uptight nowadays. You go to a party, you know, you have 10 or 11 shots of wild turkey, everybody wants your car keys, you know. I'm
just going to tee them up for you for 22
Well, you're doing a great
minutes
job.
here.
Can I go back to the Santa story?
Later.
No, I do very edgy stuff, and it's hurting comedy. The world's getting better, but comedy's becoming too safe. People are afraid to take a risk because if they fail, it's on Twitter. And these Twitter people are so evil. The worst thing you can do is get sentimental on Twitter. I let my guard down. I said I got engaged once. I said, guys, guess what? I got engaged. I'll share it with you, my followers.
Right.
That used to be a bad thing, by the way, to have followers, you know, now. And first tweet back after me and my fiance, a kid in Iowa, 17-year-old kid, his Twitter handle was Artie's Black Liver, because apparently I have liver issues. This is what he said: "Eat a dick, fatty." That's what he tweeted. My fiance burst into tears.
The Twitter sphere is brutal.
17 years old.
Is brutal.
17. Yeah. And then I told him I wanted to go to a Halloween party, and she was gonna be like a movie star, and I was gonna be a female movie star. And he said to me, "You should go as obese Witherspoon." Okay. Now then, I hired him as a writer at that point. Fatty obese brother.
You had to.
Right.
Right,
I still,
you
awful thing, irony. I still talk to that kid, and my fiance left me 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I don't talk to her anymore.
You're going to be doing a TV show soon, right? Or maybe you've already been shooting it, right? HBO.
Yeah, no, I
Crashing
shot a whole season.
You did. Okay.
Well,
so are you like one of the main characters, or are you playing yourself?
No, I'm an extra every show. I'm just in the background.
A recurring role.
No, it's it's basically a regular. There's 8 episodes. I'm in like 6 of the 8 episodes, and I wasn't supposed to be. It was like winning the comedy lottery. I play myself, and Judd Apatow is running it, executive and directing it, which is that's hitting the lottery.
Did he call you? Did he seek you out for
Well,
it?
he read my book. I wrote a book that he had, and there's all crazy stories in there. And he said, "Well, you'd be good to just do like a cameo in the pilot." So I went, and they said, why don't you try telling road stories with Pete Holmes as the star? And I had a million of them, and it sort of just went well. And they said, "Why don't you do more in the pilot?" The pilot, the title of the pilot is Artie Lange. That's what happened.
Really? And
then they gave me like a bunch of. They offered me six of the 8, or maybe 7 of the 8 episodes.
Wow.
And the second one is based on something that really happened to me. And because I told the story, Gina Gershon is on. I make out with Gina Gershon in the second episode.
Oh.
Yep. Because I
Wow.
wrote it. I'm the only person who knows the girl she's playing. I met her. This girl tried to sell me coke in Albany. Long story. But God, the girl's going to be happy with the casting. The girl did not look like Gina Gershon.
Horrible gig for you.
And she squeezed my breast, so turn around for her. Yeah, okay. she was very good at it.
Well,
She should be good at it, right? It's kind of like Ronnie Lott should be able to run a good post pattern,
When can we see the show?
It's already been canceled. No, it's on February. You know the show Girls. He does that too, Apatow. Right. So he's like, and so basically, we're going to premiere right after that.
Oh wow, that's a great lead-in.
Valentine's Day weekend, and so I'm doing all promos. He invited me to do all the press, stand-up tour. He's doing a stand-up tour. We take a private jet to the gig because it's him. You fly to St. Louis, you do the show, you get on a jet. You don't stay in St. Louis. Like the hardest part about going to St. Louis is you stay there. This solves that problem.
Is he great to work with?
I love St. Louis. Who?
Judd.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant the Budslow Bakery guy.
Yeah.
Judd Apatow was the coolest guy ever as far as like directing. He was so laid back, not arrogant at all. Like it's always the really genius, great guys who have a resume where they could brag, who never brag.
Right.
It's the who have done nothing that it's like they're Peter Ustinov or something. Calm down. He just money and power is so great to see. I don't come from that at all. It's like, he had executives on the set who weren't allowed to talk. That's the best thing ever. Every executive is allowed to talk on every show I've ever done. And they say the stupidest stuff. Yeah. And it's just very, they have to justify their existence. And he wouldn't let them talk. And we had 4 cameras going the whole time with film, just money, money, money. And we shot it like a play. We shot a whole season, like a month and a half.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was great.
It sounds great. And you also have the podcast, the Artie Quitter Show. Why is it called the Artie Quitter Show?
Well, it's based on this thing I did. When I tried to join Twitter, I was 2 years late. I was in jail in Florida. Long story. But I got out, and I was behind in the time. So my agent said, you got to join Twitter, and I was 2 years. So everybody had my name. They bought my Artie Lange. A Japanese porn site had ArtieLange.com, and they're doing very well. And I had to switch it. So I made this thing Artie Quitter, where it's all like bad, like negative advice. And it's like telling kids who want to become Derek Jeter. It's like, you're probably not going to become Derek Jeter. Just do whatever you're good at, which is working at the DMV or something.
Crush their dreams.
Right. So the symbol was a dead bird, a black dead bird, like a black bird. And it got a lot of hits from people. There's a lot of negative thinking kids out there, and I'm like their hero. So I made it Artie Quitter, all one word, and that took over the whole Twitter universe. I'm doing great.
And now you're doing.
I bought this outfit with my last.
And now you're doing the podcast, and
it's simple. It's so much fun. I'm on a couch, and I do. I make
from your home.
Yeah. Well, you want to do some
Hoboken?
math? Yeah, Hoboken. Okay. Well, calm down. Do some math. You ready? $7 a month I charge. Everyone said no. I got I was on Howard Stern for 8.5 years, so you get a following with that, right?
Right.
They said, even with that, no one's going to sign up. You don't need that many people. $7 a month, I got 12,000 people.
I can't do the math. But you're doing well.
84 grand a month.
That is...
Can you do that math? I tell every hot chick I meet this.
That I can understand.
I go, sweetie, can you do 84 grand a month? So that's 840,000. I'll make like $1.2 million. I'm on my couch. And I just fell into this. I'm no businessman.
That's great.
But like 30,000 people steal it.
And,
so I found out
and you have all kinds of guests, right? I saw Ann Coulter was on the show. And,
yeah, she came to see me do stand-up at Caroline's.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had found out, do you know what a blumpkin is? All right. Well, it's an act that a hooker does. And I'm glad you don't know it. But Trump is taking over the culture to the point where hookers have now made that a Trumpkin. They call it the true story in New York. And I told that joke somewhere, and Ann Coulter liked it and told Trump. Because we know each other. And he's so proud of that. He's the kind of guy like Kennedy would have hated it. Well, secretly liked it. But like he's the kind of guy who would say, I like that.
Can we talk about the Howard Show?
I guess.
If
you want to move on from Blumpkin.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, Howard Stern, you mean?
Yeah. Can you tell the story of how you were a listener, your late dad was a listener,
right?
And really how you came to do the show?
Well, you know, again, my father in the summer of 1982, I was in summer school as always. I failed gym. True story. And I came home from summer school. My father said, "You're working with me tomorrow." He climbed roofs for a living. He installed TV antennas. And he said, "There's a guy on the radio, Howard just got." He goes, "He's so funny." And it was like a bonding thing. So I went to work with him, and Howard was doing this bit in 1982. He called a farm. And I wanted to buy some chickens, and this older guy said that you know, he had cocks for sale, and like just that double entendre of the word, and he was getting away with it. Me and my father, you know, not educated people, laughed for like just on the side of the road laughing. We didn't make it to the job, you know, and so that's how we bonded. My father fell and became a quadriplegic. He fell off a ladder 5 years later, and the only thing that made him laugh was the Stern Show, and. We asked a bunch of celebrities for stuff to sign for an auction for him because we're like going on welfare. Howard's the only guy who sent something. He sent the jacket that he signed. And on the air, he said, "Does this guy think he's going to walk?" My father was a quadriplegic. He said, "This guy thinks he's going to walk if I sign the jacket?" Like a typical Howard thing. So, and then 8 years later, I'm on the...
Did your father laugh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he did.
8 years later, I'm on the show, and I'm telling that story. My father died a few years later. But, you know... Basically, the neighborhood I come from with my father, if the job I got on Howard, it would be a bigger deal than if I became a U.S. Senator. I mean, literally, he would not have cared. This would have been like, you're the third host of the Howard Stern. Like, I couldn't even dream of it because who knew it was even going to happen, you know? It really was like a somebody up there likes me kind of moment. And I went in with Norm Macdonald. And he was honest about what I had gone through. And he said, "You like Artie Howard? He got kicked off of Mad TV because of cocaine." And I told Howard the whole story about getting arrested. And he loved it. He goes, "I love out of control guys. And you're a friend of the show," which is like, everybody called me. And a couple years later, the Norm Show got canceled. Jackie the Joke Man left. And he had on-air auditions. And I got in because I went in with Norm. He knew me. And I got it. 6 months later, he offered me the job. And I'm you know, this show full time in the morning. And 8.5 years, I was on the Howard Stern Show.
Was doing the show as much fun as it sounds like when you're a listener in your car and you're...
The only thing that remotely felt like work was getting up early. It was like having a paper out, you know. And I was doing a lot of stand-up, too, because the money was good with stand-up. So it was not, you know, it was going from nocturnal that. But it was like laughing in the third grade, throwing spitballs all day. And I moved to a very conservative building with all these yuppies who were, like, from Indiana. They come here to work on Wall Street. And I'm on the show for, like, a week. I'm living... I get in the elevator with two people who look like modern pilgrims. That's the only way to... So. And woman that... I knew the woman was going to hate my guts. I just know. And the guy looks at me and goes, "Hey, I'm a fan. I saw the E! Channel show last night." And she looks at him like this. Like he's raping their cat or something. And... clearly, she was offended by it. And he went, "Oh, anyway, all right, nice to meet you." He put his head down, and it was so awkward. She didn't say a word to me. I get out, I'm like, what was on the show the night before? Like, what was she? And when I thought of it, I couldn't stop laughing. We had a stripper on, we put mayonnaise on her, and we threw bologna at it, and I won with the most bologna on her. And this is a woman I think went to Vassar. I couldn't stop laughing when I realized what was on. And I said, well, we got her money for breasts, which was great, the girl. And that's a nice thing. And, the woman never talked to me. She lived next to me for 10 years. She realized she lived 30 feet from the devil. And the guy wasn't allowed to talk to me. I'm like, get some... What are you doing?
And yet now, though, I mean, would she be so offended? I'm sure you saw that article in the Time.
About what?
About Howard being legit now and getting respect and being, a really highly regarded interviewer.
Right. Well, he was always good at that.
Yeah.
The first week I was there, he interviewed Paul McCartney. It was amazing.
Oh, my God.
But, I wouldn't fit into the show now. If I listened to it, every instinct I have would get me fired. Like it's a very different... He has Gwyneth Paltrow on now. I mean... Who in Gwyneth Paltrow's life is going to let her within a foot of me?
Yeah, but they let you there with Sir Paul and Roger Daltrey, right?
That was all by
a lot of big names
Roger
there.
Daltrey's right? I'm talking about Gwyneth Paltrow's talking about a $200 energy drink she sells in Southampton, and I'm there like the grimace going, "Show us your breasts." Not going to work. So I think he wanted to change. I mean, Daltrey is the rock stars; they were edgy, but I had to leave. And I think he was trying to figure out a way to ask me politely to leave the show because he couldn't have done that. And, then heroin did the job for him.
And then...
Yeah, I OD'd on heroin.
You've said that you would want to go back, right?
No,
No?
No, I wouldn't fit in there. I wouldn't fit in.
But as a guest? How about as a guest?
Well, he doesn't want me on there.
No.
I called him, and then he called me back. It's very awkward.
I've heard that.
Well, I don't know. I think I know he's mad about the heroin stuff, but I thought we made up about that. I don't know what it's. He won't acknowledge my existence, and I was there like a decade.
Didn't he say? Didn't he say at one time that he didn't think it would be good for your health for you to come back?
Yeah, that's bull. I don't think he cares about that. No, I think it would be fine. I think he just doesn't want me there for some reason.
Do you ever think that there would be a time when he would just say, whatever, what past is past, let's have Artie back?
If he asked me that, I would see, I'm very self-destructive, and my jersey would get up. I would say something bad to him. I'd get into a fight with him. What happened was he had a chick on that had a fat fetish. This is when it was over. Mm-hmm. And he wanted me to go on a date with her. And I got real offended by it. And on the air, I said, what if I brought in a girl who liked pelicans? And he said, "You saying I look like a pelican?" I said, "Yeah." And then our relationship was over after that.
And
it was very, he was mad at that. But I'm, fat pelican,
Do you still listen to the show?
No, I can't listen to it. It's very hard. It was the best time of my life, but I don't know. He's being like he won't call me back. So I stopped calling him.
Why is it hard to listen to?
Because I was there, it was, making comments in my room is hard, Mm. I used to get paid $900,000 a year to make those comments. Now I'm in my room. Mm. The guy was one of the best friends ever, but, and he was nice to me, but he's done stuff that I just don't get. And I think in some ways, he owes me an explanation because we were very close friends, but I moved on. If he really wanted me to do something, I would do it, because the guy did me a solid. Like, my father was the kind of guy, he gave you a job when you needed it. You should go, no matter what happened. Stop being a wuss. And I would go, but I would want an explanation about stuff, because we were close friends. I don't know, what's the problem? Tell me what I did, and I'll say I'm sorry at least. Very difficult. Like me and you, I feel you're not going to talk. If I call you after this, see, this is how I am. I'm very annoying. For 8.5 years we sat here.
You ran into him, right? When
Robin
was sick.
Who's such a wonderful person.
Do you stay in touch with her? Do you stay
She
in
won't
touch
call me either.
with any of the key players in the show?
They're not allowed to call me.
How about the Whack Packers? Are they in touch with you?
Well, they just, whatever voice in their head tells them to do something. High Pitch Eric calls me quite a bit. We go golfing. It's a weird thing going on there. There's a weird thing going on there. Put it this way, the New York Times article missed a great story. I think, the people there are not allowed to talk to anybody who's ever worked on the show before. I don't know why. Certainly not me. But I love the guy. I do know. I would love to just go on and say I love you one more time as closure. But for some reason, you know, he thinks I'm a fat. What reason would you have to think that?
You think that anybody who worked there is like under some sort of edict not to talk about the show?
There's not a confidentiality agreement, but you know, it's like, you know, I think he's not comfortable with people talking to people. Like all the TV guys left in a very abrupt way. He was a great boss, a great friend. He was generous, and something happened to where that changed. And I want to make sure it's not totally my fault. I would love to just say thanks to the guy in front of the fans. I think the fans would like that too, but he doesn't want that, and you know, it makes me mad. But ultimately, he was so great to me. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here with you without him. You know, and I just would like to have a conversation with him one day. And the fans deserve to hear that, you know, I think. But I'm over it that you brought it up.
I did bring it up. And, well, you talked about it in a book, too. And you have another book coming out next year?
Yeah, the guy who writes them for me, he's got to move it. No, yeah, I've written 2 books. But again,
that answers the ghostwriter question.
All you got to do is read the foreword he wrote for me in the first book. Like, there was clearly an affection there that I had, and I dedicated the book to him. And the book, I said, Howard, thanks for teaching me and a whole generation of comedians how to be funny. And I genuinely mean that. Like, he did stuff he didn't do for anybody else for me. He shut down John's Pizzeria to throw me a surprise 40th birthday party. He never does stuff like that. And then something went downhill. And the heroin is terrible. They say it takes your soul. And it did. And I was out of line. But I thought we cleared that up. So if there's something else, I would love to say I'm sorry to him. He doesn't want that. Would you feel after 8.5 years you would let a guy come in and just talk to you at least?
I don't know.
I mean, I
don't know what it was like. You know, I wasn't sitting there, but
we've been talking. Well, I know that.
I know you know that.
This is awkward for you. You see, I could be a jerk. How do you feel about me as a person based on this half hour?
How do I feel about you?
As a person.
No, I'm the one asking. Let me ask you.
What are you?
How do you feel about the 22 minutes? Do you listen to WINS at all?
Are you attracted to me? I'm feeling
wildly.
I'm sensing that. Now I get it. All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sweetie. No, you're 22 minutes and we'll give you the world. I grew up on it. Sure.
Good.
First of all, false advertising.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Not the world. 22 minutes, you get traffic on a BQE. The world is like Tangiers. I loved it. I loved it. I love all the local New York sports guys. It's too polished now. Everybody's so polished. The Giants used to have a guy, Jim Gordon. He made mistakes on the radio. You'd bet your mortgage on the Giant game, and he would make a mistake. And because he was probably loaded. It was so much fun. Now no one's loaded. Although I smell some, you got a couple of pops, right? I smell a little Chardonnay. So are you single?
Definitely not.
No. I'm saying we could go out. You ever go get a pastrami sandwich? Or,
See the clock, Artie?
It's been longer than 22 minutes.
It's been at 0 for a while now.
Well, I've been at 0 for a long time. I don't want, you know, again, I get my jersey up. I say, I love Howard to death. He was so good to me. I just don't, it's just confusing. And I have a heart. Friends are important to me. I feel me and you should stay in touch. What do you do? You want to do this every week?
Yeah, we could do 22 minutes with Artie Lange every week.
What about 4 seconds off the air? What about 4 seconds with Artie Lange?
I'm trying to find a graceful spot to end the interview. So why don't I just say, Artie Lange, thank you for coming in.
All right, if you want to redo that.
No, definitely not.